Have you ever wondered what would happen if one morning you grabbed your phone, typed the question into Google, and nothing came back? No error message, no buffering, just silence. And then you realize it isn't just search. YouTube won't load. Gmail is frozen. Google Maps won't open. Android apps break one by one. It sounds impossible, like the internet is too big, too complex for one company's disappearance to matter that much. But here's the truth. Most people don't know. When Google went offline for just 5 minutes in 2013, global internet traffic dropped by 40%. That was 5 minutes. Now imagine forever. Because if Google vanished today, the world wouldn't simply slow down. Entire systems would stumble, businesses would crash, information would fracture, and your daily life would feel like suddenly waking up without electricity. But what exactly collapses first? And who, if anyone, could replace Google's massive influence? Let's break it down. At first, nobody panics. People assume it's their Wi-Fi. They restart their routers, switch to mobile data, try again. But then everyone around them notices the same thing. YouTube is frozen. Gmail can't sync. Search is dead. Within seconds, automated systems begin failing quietly in the background. Because Google isn't just a search engine, it's the foundation beneath thousands of online services. And before anyone fully understands what's happening, the shockwave starts spreading through the global economy. Most people think of Google as a website, but to businesses, it's infrastructure. Google Cloud supports companies like Spotify, Snapchat, Nintendo, Airbus, Home Depot, and millions more. When Google disappears, servers lose authentication systems. Databases go offline. AI tools stop working. Analytics vanish. Login processes fail. Banks relying on Google's verification face login disruptions. E-commerce platforms can't process orders. Hospitals using Google Workspace lose access to communication tools and patient documents. No, planes won't plummet from the sky. Hospitals won't shut down completely. But delays, missed data, and sudden uncertainty create a digital fog. The world doesn't crash instantly, but the cracks start forming fast. Now it gets personal. Your phone, if it's Android, becomes half broken. Android relies on Google for updates, security checks, notifications, and app permissions. Millions of apps simply stop working because they can't talk to Google anymore. Google Maps? Gone. Uber? Broken. Food delivery? Broken. Navigation systems for emergency services? Heavily impaired. Logistics systems? Jammed. Even simple things you take for granted suddenly require effort. How do I get there? Is this place open? What does this mean? Where do I find this information? Psychologists call this cognitive disruption. The brain struggles when a frequently used tool suddenly disappears. The world didn't explode, but it became unfamiliar. Yet even this isn't the worst part. When YouTube disappears, it becomes the single largest content extinction event in digital history. Every minute, 500+ hours of video vanish from the upload queue. Entire industries die overnight. Education channels, music discovery, how-to tutorials, news commentary, entertainment creators, tech reviews, language teachers, DIY guides. Millions of creators lose their income instantly. Billions lose their primary source of learning. Without YouTube, the internet becomes dramatically less educational, less entertaining, less interconnected. And into that vacuum, new giants begin to fight for control. When a titan falls, the predators move fast. Microsoft pushes Bing to replace Google Search. Amazon expands AWS to take over cloud dominance. Meta tries resurrecting its video platforms to replace YouTube. TikTok accelerates long-form content to dominate online video. This becomes a digital gold rush, a global race to claim the pieces Google left behind. But none of them can replace Google immediately, because Google isn't one service, it's an ecosystem. Search plus Maps plus Android plus YouTube plus Cloud plus Gmail plus Ads plus authentication. Removing it is like removing a keystone from an arch, holding up half the internet. Even with rapid competition, stability would take years. And during those years, a new danger emerges. Without Google's unified search index, the internet becomes fragmented. Different countries use different search engines. Different companies use different ranking systems. Algorithms give wildly different answers. This is called information balkanization. Knowledge splits into isolated pockets. The consequences? Misinformation spreads faster. Search results become biased or manipulated. Governments push their own controlled results. Smaller search engines get overwhelmed. Critical information becomes inconsistent. Scientific sources get buried. The internet stops being a global library. It becomes a maze. And the world becomes more divided because people no longer share the same information. After 5 to 10 years, the world stabilizes again, but it looks very different. Phones rely more on local data. Navigation becomes subscription-based. YouTube's cultural monopoly fades, replaced by dozens of regional video platforms. Email becomes decentralized. Search becomes driven more by localized AI models than global indexing. The internet becomes less global, less unified, and more fragmented into national ecosystems. Some people might say this sounds peaceful or simple, but in reality, it's a step backward. A world where information is harder to access, less consistent, and more controlled. Because whether we like it or not, Google unified the world's knowledge. Remove it, and humanity doesn't collapse, but it does become slower, more divided, and far less connected. So the real question isn't, what if Google went offline forever? It's this: are we ready for a world where the internet no longer speaks the same language?